we recorded all the buy information, so let's step it forward to see what happened. And did we record our target? No, let's work out our target. So our target is from the bottom of this bar here where it started the pattern up to the low of this bar. So I want from the low of that bar, which we can see here is 14.81, to the low of that bar, so this distance from here to here, and the low of that bar is 16.64. Now let's just do a quick calculation. Okay, that distance is 1.83. This distance here is 1.83. So my target is going to be from the top of this bar here, adding on 1.83, because it should move the same distance up as it did down here. So the top of that bar, which is 17.64, I add on the target, which is this distance, 1.83, and it gives me 19.47 is my target. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to say I'm going to sell this if the share hits my stop or if it hits my target. So I'll write that into here. I'm going to have, whoops. Again, if you didn't follow that calculation, replay the video and you'll see me do it again. And if you're a complete beginner and I lost you on the calculation, all I was doing is saying, what's this distance? I expect it to move the same distance. And I calculated the figure. So let's put in here, sell stop. Oh, no, I don't want to put that. I want to put target of 19.47. Okay, that's it. So let's step this forward, see what happens. Oops. Okay, I stepped that forward quite fast. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, actually, there was a bar. Did that hit our first sell stop? We had our first sell stop midway down here, so I'm pretty sure it didn't, but let's have a look. Let's just see when our sell stop was. Sell stop 17.15. Low of that bar was 17.28, so we're still okay. We're still in the trade. Let's keep going. I'm just pressing the right arrow key on the keyboard to step forwards. Okay, so what's happening? Shares going up. Well, kind of. Yeah, it didn't go up as fast as I thought it would. I thought it would just do a quick move up, but it's okay, still going up. And we're going to sell if it gets to 19.47. Oh, did it? I think it might have already done that actually. Let's go back a bit. I think we've gone. Oops. Okay, let's jump back to where we were. Okay, let's try this again. I wasn't paying attention, so let's look at the numbers and see. 19.47 was our target. $19.47. $19.4. 19.55. Okay, so if you can see here, 19.55. Our target was 19.47. We've sold on this day here. So we write it in. We go to the. Let's get rid of the line so we can see exactly what's going on. It hit our target. It actually did it a bit slower than I thought, but it did hit our target. So the date we exited was we can see, just check we're on the right day, yeah, was the 6th of the 2nd, so 6th of Feb. So 6th of Feb 09. Price we exited at, well, it would have been our target, because that's what we would have put as the stop, 19.47. Reason we sold, hit target. Okay, maybe you'd put a bit more reason than that, but for now let's just put hit target. That's fine. So now we need to get a copy of the chart. So let's press print screen to get a copy of the chart. Print screen on the keyboard, and now I right click the mouse and I click paste. I left click and hold it down to move the chart. I left click and hold it down on the corner to shrink the chart. Let's shrink it a bit more. Okay, and then I go to Format, Crop, and I can chop the bits off that I don't need just by left clicking and holding the mouse down. Oops. Like this. And we don't need this over here either. Let's chop that off. Check you leave the dates and prices on it though. That's important. So I'm leaving the date along the bottom and the prices along the side. Okay. Now let's move it into position and let's grow the chart like that. Okay, that's fine. So there's my buy chart and there's my sell chart. Excellent. So I've got a record so I can always look back at this and see what I did. Now let's work out net gain or loss, cash amount made per share. So that's an easy sum. That's just 19, let's get the calculator, 19.47 minus 17.78. So that's 1.69. That's what we made. It's put pound automatically there. Well, it was dollars, so it doesn't really matter. We know it's dollars because it's US. Percentage return gain. And I've explained how to work it out here. So price sold, which is 19.47, divided by the price bought, so divided by 17.78, and then press equals. Then you subtract 1, so minus 1, and you times by 100. So that gives us a 9.5% return. 9.5% return. Pretty good for our first paper trade. Oops, I must have some setting in Excel that's rounded it up. If you know how to use Excel, I'm sure that's easy to change. Oh, when I click on it, it goes back. I'm not sure why it's done that. Okay, somebody cleverer than me at Excel will know how to do this. But I'm going to try and get around it by saying 9.5%. And it does let me do that. Okay, that's my creative thinking there. So we've recorded all that information. Well, pretty good. We did a 9.5% return in, how long did it take us? Well, it actually took us about 4 weeks to get that return. But still, 10% in 4 weeks, pretty good. And that's our first paper trade. Now, what do you do? Lessons learned. What were the lessons learned on this one? What do you reckon? Well, when we step forwards, I think the very next day it started to go down. Yeah, it did start to go down. So it did exactly our target before it dropped. Pretty incredible. But what I'd say is something that I'd make a comment on is when it gets near your target, it's good to use a stop on the low of the bar to check that if it doesn't quite reach your target, you still get out close to the target. So you'd put your stop on the low of each point of these bars as it gets very close to the target. So maybe you'd notice that it only just got your target and went down, and you thought, well, what if it just missed my target? I would have started losing money. So good idea is to have a close stop on the low of the bar. So let's write that in as our lesson learnt. Lessons learnt. When the share price gets close to the target, use a sell stop on the low of the bar. Okay, good lesson. And what do? We then save this. And that's fine. We've saved it. Something you should have done, or I should have mentioned first before we started, is when you had this as a blank template right at the start, a good idea would be to just click up here, right-click and do copy, go to the sheet number 2 and go paste, and then do that on a few sheets so you've got lots of blank templates. Well, this one isn't blank now because we just have to empty it all. Because I filled it in. But do that process before you fill it in so that you've got lots of blank templates ready to use. So let me just clear this one, because in a second I think we'll do another example. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And yeah, so before you start filling in the template, copy it a few times across tabs so you've got lots of blank templates to use. So here's the one we just did. We've still got it there. And now I've got a blank template as well, ready to go for the next one. So back we go. Yeah, that's it really. Let's carry on and let's do another example.